moment on this conference that I went for in Nairobi, when the South African Minister of Transport stood up in the gathering where there are political parties from all over the world, and he said to me, he said, I want to applaud Liberia because your election was so tight, hotly contested, and President Boakai only defeated President Weah less than 30,000 votes. And yet, President Weah conceded. He said, you people should continue that democracy. I was proud. I'm going to say anyway, therefore, President, we have to concede and keep our democracy on the path it is. It's something, of course, I'm proud of, and I'm happy he did that. I would praise him any day for that, because not many Africans can do that. Look, let's stop all these political norms. When people do something good, praise them. He could have stayed in power like other people. Yes, he could have done that. When President Boakai,
I'm very pleased to announce to the public that our president, His Excellency George Weah, has fulfilled his promise. Just a day after he made this promise, yesterday he paid a visit to Gibraltar, the community where he grew up in, and during that visit, he promised the dwellers, the residents of Gibraltar, that he will do a re-roofing of all of the homes in Gibraltar. And he asked them to look into the possibility of relocating for at least 5 months, because that's how long it would take for this project to be executed. But not so surprisingly, a day after this promise was made, we can see that the work has started today. They have started the re-roofing of some of the homes in the Gibraltar community. And this is not strange, because we have a firebrand, result-driven president, a president who believes in tangible, a president who is of more action and less talk. We see all over the place, all over the city, new developments going on owing to the president's promise. We just saw students came to appreciate the president for fulfilling his promise he made during the campaign period, that his government will absorb all of the wire fees. That has taken place. We see all over the city, the president instructed the finance minister to appropriate funds from the recast budget to ensure that 2,000 new street lights are installed all over Monrovia. Everywhere you drive at night, you see street lights, bright street lights all over the place. We see a lot of other developments taking place. We see, as I speak to you, the president is about to embark on a project to transform the entire West Point and other slum communities and rural Liberia, where he wants to change the huts. Is this the beginning? The huts to modern houses. This is just the beginning of great things to come.
Today we came to unroof the houses within this community, to unroof the houses within a community and then replace it with new ones. I mean, the zinc, the planks, anyone that is damaged or not befitting to be there, we take it off and put in the new ones.
Okay, so you are starting today, right?
Yeah, this is the first day.
Okay.
This is the first day.
Process?
It's fine, it's going on. I mean, as you can see, so it's okay. But in a day or two, you will see work being speeded up in a sense that, the start of everything is somehow a little bit difficult. We started, our main aim is to target about 2 or 3 houses in the daytime. Yeah, at daytime, yeah.
You have the net power?
Yes, indeed, we have that.
How many you have working on you?
For now, our sole aim is to take the community dwellers. We don't want to bring people from the outside.
I feel happy. The president can in the community say all the houses they want in the route, they want in the whole route, and face and posing. Oh, I will feel happy. We feel happy. I appreciate for what you're doing for us.
How long you been in the community?
I was small. Yes.
Okay. Can you explain a little bit about the president?
Yes, the president who grew up with my childhood friend.
Okay.
Who grew up together, do everything together. When I used to go to my parents, to my mom, Mama will cook, we eat, we joke, we laugh, we go to school together and all. We do things together, we do things common, everything. You know, a bad person, you're a good boy. You friendly, you good, you can give. You start giving for a small time, and they didn't.
Here in district number 16 to be I'm here in district number. Yeah, so folks, let me say a pleasant good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Whitmore Lee Makwete. I'm here in district number 16 to be precise in the New Kutan area on the Popo Beach, where we are here. We are here at the grounds of the Popo housing unit. When we want to know who built this housing unit and whether our people are paying money or tax to the government, because people say former president we did nothing, so we are moving around, moving about. And to let you know, today is the 29th of January, 2026. My name is Honorable Whitmore Lee Makwete. I'm here with Omali Morris and our mothers, our sisters, and our daughter. She is here, and she will give us a little overview about the place. So let me say welcome, Mama.
Thank you.
You can come closer, Mr. Cameraman. Your name?
My name is Judy Abati.
Can you be a little bit audible for us?
Okay, my name is Judy Abati.
Judy Abati.
Yeah.
For how long you been here?
I've lived here over 15 years now.
Okay, over 15 years. So, you know who built this place?
Yes.
Who?
The estate was actually built by our former president, George Mane Weah.
Okay. So, since President Weah built this, you go paying money or you have paid money before?
The houses after the fire disaster, when the president came to build the place, they gave the place back to the landowners.
Okay.
So the houses are owned by the landowners, and they are the one giving it out for rent or stay inside.
Okay.
themselves.
So the people who are having the houses on the spots.
The people who had the land.
Okay, they particular land.
Yeah.
So when the place got on fire, President Weah came and built a housing unit here,
Yeah.
and give it back to them free.
Yes.
So they decided to rent it to get little thing for themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what would you like to say to President Weah?
I would like to say, President Weah, even in your absence as not being a president, we still remember you because of what he did for us. Before, we used to live in a place that didn't look like, like places like this.
Okay.
That didn't look the place that human beings could stay.
All right.
It was so devastating for us. We live in Zinwan houses, so bad off. But we want to say thank you to him, and we'll continue to say thank you to him, because the more we see these projects, these houses, we remember that someone who was once our president saw our needs and changed our level of life,
Okay.
our stage of living, our living condition. So I want to say thank you to him again.
For President Weah will be contesting in 2029. So will you be on the forefront to campaign for a re-election?
I've always supported Weah.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'm actually a citizen, and I will
yeah.
continue to support.
Okay. So let me say thanks so kindly. And thank you very much. I think what I and my brother will do a tour around the vicinity to see if some people can know that President Weah did extremely well for his people. So we'd like to say thank you, and thank you very much for saying.
What you are looking at currently is the housing unit that was built in Bond County. So this is the Bond County one that you are looking at. These are housing units that were built by President Weah in Bond County, free of charge for his people.
So these are the houses the president built in this town. I think it's about 12 different houses.
All right.
The Weah-led government has prioritized infrastructure development as one of its utmost deliverables to the Liberian people. Key among such infrastructures is affordable housing that is intended to lift people out of poverty. As the Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment LACE continues to construct proper housing for impoverished community dwellers, the National Housing Authority, the NHA, has been engaging investors to erect housing for the people since the ownership of over 2,000 houses that previous governments built have been transferred to the inhabitants.
For the National Housing Authority, previously it has been, I think, 7 decades. Since its inception, they built only 2,180 houses, all of the assets combined together. So President Weah sent me here in June of 2019. And in 2019, in 6 months from June to December, we had signed into contract 96,000 houses.
The commitment of 96,000 houses is at the value 996 million US dollars. That's a pretty good number.
The Weah government has signed into contract 96,000 houses. The first 1,000 of the 96,000 houses is being constructed right now.
The company, Millennium Construction Incorporated, is
So, fellow Liberians, home and abroad, it's a privilege as always for us to be on here. And we are so grateful that today we have another wonderful, 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 wonderful opportunity. And we ask that all of you please do us a favor. And that favor we require of you is to kindly hit for us the share button. Share with as many persons as you can share with. I mean, with friends, families, and let's have a very wonderful, a very, very wonderful interaction. Let's have a very wonderful interaction. So you can do us that favor. You can hit us the share button, and we will be good, and we will have a very wonderful discussion. So welcome to each and every one of you. As usual, we ask that you do us that favor while we get ready to do what we are supposed to do. So please do us the favor, join us, hit the share button, and it's going to be a very wonderful time. We are expecting to have a guest here with us today, and that guest is going to be Anthony Gamonde Clinton. He's going to be with us today as a guest to discuss issues of national concern. So again, we urge you to do us a favor, and that favor require of you is to hit the share button, invite as many friends as you can invite, and let's have a very wonderful, a very, very wonderful time. It's going to be a great time. Let's have a wonderful time. I want to welcome our own brother, Al Al. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. Uh, to- Thank you for joining us. Please hit for us the share button, please. Hit for us the share button, share with friends, share with family members, and let's all of us have a very wonderful time. Huh? Let's have a very wonderful time. Please hit us the share button and let's have a wonderful time. So, as we are sharing, we hope that you are also sharing with us on the various platforms. Please share with us on the various platforms and let's do this together. Yeah. Together, we can do it together. We can do it together. We can definitely do it together. So, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so very kindly. We appreciate all of you. And let's do this together. Yeah, let's do this together. So, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are sharing, so you can also help us to share. And we promise a very, very wonderful time together. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of the notification too. See, some of you are sending out, the notification. All right. So we are just trying to make sure that all of what we are doing here is set. Someone is saying no sound. Saying no sound. Okay. 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 All right. So, okay. Okay. I think the video earlier did not have sound on it, but we managed to solve that. So again, we want to say welcome to each and every one of you. We do appreciate your presence here, and I want to say uh, welcome to the Metro Media. We appreciate your presence here. We want to say welcome to uh, Natrut. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you so very kindly. We also want to welcome Venetia's Junior Bar. Thank you for joining us. Roosevelt Kroma, how are you, Roosevelt? I want to say thank you so much for your presence here. We do appreciate you. We want to welcome Solomon. Solomon Fan, thank you so much for joining us. Leo Montgomery, how are you, Chief? Thank you so much for your presence here. We do appreciate you. Uh, if you have the time, you can definitely join us. If you have the time, you can definitely join us. Let me see. If you have the time, you can definitely join us. We're about to share. Okay. Oh no. Okay, so just hit for us the share button, please. Yeah. Hit us the share button, share with friends, share with family members. I'm trying to work out some things here that I'm seeing that is not too fine from our end here. Technology. Don't want to be very kind to us, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So just bear with us while we try to do our best. And our best is to bring you the best that we can bring you. Yeah. All right. Okay. Okay. So I think we are getting there. No, 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 no. All right. So I think we are getting there. We are getting there. I know it's a bit, sometimes technology has its own way of misbehaving. Mm, Let me close this. I know sometimes technology has its own way, of giving us tough time. But don't worry, we are going to do what we can do to ensure that we bring you the best of what we are supposed to bring you. So again, I want to say welcome to each and every one of you. And as usual, we ask that you please do us a favor. And that favor that I require of you is to please hit for us the share button, share with friends, share with family members, and let us all have a very, very wonderful time here together. Yeah. Let's have a wonderful time together. Mm, yeah. Thank you. All right. So yeah. So just bear with us. Let's set up everything here. Let's make sure that everything is set up. Yeah. Let's set up everything here, and we're going to be good. Okay. Okay, Leo. Definitely. I'm about to send it in the chat room there. Let me see. Okay. So just bear with me a bit. I want to do what I want to do. Uh, okay. So just bear with us while we try to. Sorry. Yeah. That's the thing about what we do. It's a wonderful thing. It's very wonderful. Yeah, what we do here is very, very wonderful. We got to be doing the presentation at the same time. Yeah. So there are plenty of things we're doing here. We are presenting and okay. We are presenting and producing. You see how wonderful this is? Yeah. This is how wonderful what we do here is. So just bear with me and we will be good. Okay, 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 okay. So you bear with me, my people. Let me just do everything I can do here. Technology don't want to do me justice, but don't worry. We will be okay. We will be good. Yeah, we will be good. I'm seeing different thing here on my different screen. Some of the things that I'm seeing here, I don't know, but technology don't want to be very kind to us. Well, anyway, we'll be good. We will be good. So just bear with us. Just keep sharing. Share with friends. Share with family members. And let us all have a wonderful time. Okay, so just do us that favor and we will be good. I think I'm almost there. Okay, okay. So, fellow Liberians, home and abroad, we are grateful again to have you here. It's always a privilege when we have that opportunity to be on here to have a very wonderful interaction with you. As usual, we ask that you do us a favor, and that favor that we want you to do for us is to please hit for us the share button, share with friends, and share with family members. Let us all have a wonderful time. Today, we are going to be having with us a special guest in persons of Gamonde Clinton. He's going to be with us as a guest. So brace yourself. It's going to be very wonderful. It's going to be a very wonderful time. So just brace yourself. Yeah. We want to say welcome to our own brother, John B. Flomo Jr. Thank you so much for joining us. He says, good evening. I'm following. Thank you so much, my brother John, for following. We want to welcome Boakai uh, Fofana. Thank you so much, Boakai. Boakai Fofana, we appreciate your presence here. We want to say thank you. Leo Montgomery, thank you for following us. Al, thank you so much for giving us that signal concerning the sound. Thank you so much. I am very sure the sound is okay now from my end. I know some of the video had, some issues. Facebook have to block some of the thing because of copyright and etc. But anyways, we want to say welcome to each and every one of you, and thank you for joining us. Thank you so much. We also want to use this time to welcome Sumo Keseli. Thank you so much, Sumo Keseli, joining us there from Bon Mines. Sorry, former district, Lower Bon County. Thank you so much, Sumo, for your presence here. It's a privilege for us to have you here. Thank you so very kindly. We also want to use this time to also welcome Sombai Mohammed. Thank you so much, Sombai Mohammed, for informing us about the sound also. We appreciate you. Thank you so very kindly. We also want to use this time to welcome our own brother. Uh, he goes by the name Honorable Wilmot Lee Makrete. Thank you so much for the wonderful work you're doing. The video that I played you in, the one in Yucatan, he was the one conducting that interview. Thank you so very kindly. He's following us there from Liberia. Thank you so very kindly. We appreciate you. We want to say thank you. We also want to use this time to welcome Solomon. Thank you so much, Solomon. Uh, we appreciate your presence here. Thank you so very kindly. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We also want to welcome Prince. Thank you so much, Prince. We appreciate your presence here for joining us. We want to say thank you so very kindly. Pauline Titi Brown, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you so very kindly. Roosevelt, thank you so much. Roosevelt Kroma, we appreciate you. Thank you for your presence here. We appreciate you. Those of you who are following us on the YouTube channel, we also want to say welcome. We appreciate you. Those of you that are following us from the Prince Sharif page, we want to say welcome. So all of you who are joining us from the various platforms, we want to say thank you so very kindly. So do us a favor. If you are joining us on our personal page, Prince Sharif, we want to say thank you. Those of you joining us on the Metro Media, we want to say thank you. Those of you joining us under the Palava Hut, we want to say thank you. We appreciate you. And those of you who are joining us on the King's FM page, we also want to say thank you. We appreciate all of you. Thank you so very kindly. So just hit for us the share button and let's have a wonderful time. So very terrible things are happening in Liberia. We don't like to be the bearers of this very terrible information. No, we don't like it. In our mind, we believe that whenever we sit here, we want to put out things that are very, very encouraging about Liberia. We want to tell the world the progress we are making as a people. We want to explain to the world about our progress as a nation, as a people, the strive we are making to make Liberia a better place. But unfortunately, fellow Liberians, whenever we try to brace ourselves and put ourselves together for a very good news, all of a sudden, we are taken off balance by something very terrible that will make our people to cry. These are things that we do not like to say, but again, our work, this is what makes our work difficult. Whether it is good, it is bad, it is ugly, it is fine, we got to report it. And so, therefore, it is our duty to report. Like when you read the Bible, when God told Jeremiah, he said, I make you to be the watchman. He told Ezekiel, he said, I make you to also be a watchman. Your own work is to blow the trumpet. When you see the people doing bad things, say it. You say what I am telling you to say. At the end of the day, if you say it, their crime, their sin will be upon their head. But if you don't, our God will hold you responsible. So I don't want to be in the business where my creator will hold me responsible. That's why I'm bringing to you what is happening. Like I said, we are grateful, fellow Liberians, to have with us uh, our own brother, our own friend, Anthony Gamonde Clinton. He is here with us. We want to say, all of you, get ready, brace yourself, and we're going to have a wonderful, a very, very wonderful time. It's going to be very wonderful. It's going to be very wonderful. So just get ready. If you can grab yourself a popcorn, you can grab yourself a bottle of juice, just grab it. It's going to be a wonderful time. It's going to be a wonderful because we are going to be talking almost everything, even though the time, sometimes you get plenty of things to talk and you get juicy things to say, as somebody will say, but sometimes the time, time is our greatest, somebody will say, man greatest enemy. Because at the time you're thinking that, yeah, I want to go further, then that's when time caught up with you. But again, we are here and we are grateful to be here. Honorable Clinton is behind the scene. Once he is on, or once his camera is on, we'll definitely join him. We'll definitely join him. Is behind the scene. Once he is on, he will definitely be with us. All right. Okay. Oh, wow. We are grateful. Uh, Anthony Gamonde Clinton, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Definitely, definitely. We are grateful to have you. And thank you so much too for making time for us. We all know how busy you are, especially, with everything that is going on and with the kind of work that you do, that at least you are able to make the time to share the platform with us. We are grateful and we want to say thank you so much for joining us. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. I'm honored by the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so I just want us to start by knowing who Anthony Gamonde Clinton is. I know this is your first time, somebody will say your debut appearance under the Palava Hut. I know you are not a stranger, in our Liberian community, but again, for the sake of this platform, we just like to know who you are and, before we can begin this discussion for our audience. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Again, yeah, it's my debut. I've been on a lot of platforms. I've watched you for a long time, so it's really a privilege to be here. But hey, who's Governor Clinton? Obviously, Liberian. I've been in and out of Liberia. I'm currently based in Massachusetts, where I have a firm that does immigration and criminal defense. Um, I've been involved with the politics and advocacy in Liberia for a long time now. I'm a member of the mighty CDC. Between 2018 to 2022, I was in Liberia and worked both with the WASH Commission and the Ministry of State. So It's good to be here to talk about the people's business.
Wow, thank you so very kindly. Thank you so very kindly. So, uh, you talked about, something that has to do with immigration, especially, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to legal, when it comes to our document, that thing can catch our attention. Yeah. So you talk about that. You care to tell us the kind of services that you render, especially for, people when it comes to maybe immigration status and etc. You care to just, give us a synopsis of your services, please?
So as far as immigration, I do a lot of different things. I'm mostly family-based petition. If you're filing for someone, um, you know, PNC family members
Okay.
from Liberia or wherever else they're coming from. That is something we do. We also do a lot of clients that have asylum cases, people who are in ICE custody who are going through removal proceedings represent those clients.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So, uh, assuming that someone is maybe in somewhere like Maryland, where I am, and then hearing this very great news from you, can people contact you from just everywhere in the US or in a specific state?
So for anywhere in the U.S., because immigration is a federal issue, so any attorney that is licensed anywhere in the U.S. can do immigration issues. So yes, I have clients different parts of the U.S. So if the capacity is there to hire me from Massachusetts, of course, I'm available to take those cases.
Okay. Now, there are times, we have some people who are in Liberia, maybe want to send for their family members and stuff like that. And with all of these, things that we are hearing, oh, ice here, ice there, ice there, uh, can they get in contact with you maybe to begin the process of maybe trying to bring their family members or so over? Are you open to that also?
Oh yes, I mean we offer consultation all the time with people want to talk about just their case or what they intend to do. We are very open to it. We all the time I talk to people about a case and the different possibilities.
Wow. Okay. So there are some Liberians too. I'm sorry for taking this, but it's important. With all of these kind of hula baloo that is going on. When we hear this one, we just want to grab the opportunity right away. Maybe we're going to have time to bring you here officially so that we can discuss these things because there are a lot of Liberians, especially those of us who are doing this kind of media stuff. People call us and ask us questions that we don't know, and
Right.
we are grateful that we can have you to give us. So we're going to find a time to just talk specifically on some of these issues. But
Okay.
maybe somebody have a question and say, Anthony Clinton, I'm here in the US. I came here out of some kind of way, and the document that I have is not correct. Can you help me to regularize my status here in the midst of all of these stuff that is going on? What do you say to that person that is asking that question?
Well, I mean, every one situation is different, so it's hard to give a very specific advice without knowing the details of the case. So it's going to depend if there is a path to legal permanent resident or path to citizenship, and that depends on how the person came to the U.S. Since they came to the U.S., what connection they have with people here, whether they marry and have families here and stuff like that. So depend on a case by case basis, very specific.
Okay, that's good. We're going to leave that. Liberians, I know our people now, their mouth are watering. You see, that's why we tell you that we bring you the best for almost for nothing. People will make the sacrifices so as to inform you, and these are the great services we have in, especially in the Liberian community. Just 3 days ago, I was speaking with a friend who is from in West Africa, another country in West Africa, which I don't want to call. And this person was saying, Prince, I have this problem, I have that problem, but I feel comfortable talking to a Liberian, especially somebody who is in the field of working on my document, blah, 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 because we have worked, we know how generous, in fact, I will just call it, this person is from Nigeria. Say we know how generous Liberians are because I've tried my own people and they have failed me. So I'm so grateful. I know Liberians now are listening, but Liberians, just hold on. We'll find a time and bring Anthony Clinton here, and we're dragging with all of the questions. You will call in and say whatever you want to say. Just remember, these are services that people pay for. Imagine that. These are services that people pay thousands of dollars for, and we'll be getting it free. So brace yourself. We'll find the time and we'll give you the best. I think that would be your New Year offer from the from the Anthony himself. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So Liberian politics, the body politics in Liberia. Uh, Generally, how do you look at things before we go to the specific? I mean, how do you look at things from your own legal background as a Liberian, residing here in the U.S. with family back home? How do you look at things generally?
Look, I think the country is in a deplorable state. Then it has been in for a long time now. If you look at all the available data that you have out there, there's a decline in the rule of law. There's economic hardship for the Liberian people, and there's of course the issue of the government ineffectiveness, abuse of power by people within the government, and you know, I know a few months ago I was watching the Sport Network and I saw that they took the microphones in the marketplaces on the street just randomly to speak to people, and this was not staged, this was not prominent people talking, this was not this was just ordinary Liberians, everyday people talking about the realities of Liberia, and it's just the feedback just wasn't good, and it just tell you how the society has digressed under this administration, and it's not really a good outlook, and I think we'll get into specific as we go along.
Now, you are a legal person, right? We just want to clear the bush over, but you are a legal person. When you are talking about decline in the rule of law, then it scares somebody who, the common man, quite the people there who know the law, the message decline in the rule of law. Uh, how what are the specific as it relates to the decline in the rule of law? Maybe somebody listening, when you say decline in the rule of law, the person is confused. But what is that specific that you can point to that indicates that there is a serious decline in the rule of law, sir?
Well, let's start with where President Boakai started with his State of the Nation address. The first thing the president talked about was the alleged arson attack on the Capitol building. We know the facts surrounding that. We know the government involvement with that. We know how much effort the government put into undermining the rule of law. So if you follow what happened at the Capitol building, on day one, while the Capitol building was still in flames, the president was at the Capitol in the morning and said that this was the work of talks and hooligans and that people will be brought to justice. The president interfered with an ongoing active law enforcement investigation. He influenced the investigation and he pointed the law enforcement into the direction he wanted them to go. So even without the necessary evidence, you saw a lot of people got arrested. Some of them are still in jail. Those people have talked about how they've been maltreated by state security forces while under the custody of state security forces. They've talked about lack of access to lawyers. They talk about ill treatment while in the custody of NSC, who for some reason was involved in an arson investigation. So, and then you had an NSA officer who was lying on the stand and was caught about a judge portraying himself as an officer of the Liberian National Police. So all these things put together, you see a serious decline in rule of law. You see a president who, after a Supreme Court rule that is, the legitimacy of a sitting speaker and say show complete disregard for that and say he will work with the people he wanted to work with. So this is not just rule of law of happening at the lowest level; it's happening at the highest level of government. This is a deliberate, calculated attempt by the government to undermine the constitution of law and laws of the very constitution that the president swore an oath to protect.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so very kindly. But one would say when we are looking at all of the indicators, I mean, both from like for example, the MCC, one of the biggest report that even investors look at, to make an informed decision relative to investment and etc. And even in Liberia, I mean, a renowned or organization, whether it be an NGO or civil society group, NAMO, the reports that we saw. In all of these reports, it point out serious challenges to what you've just, alluded to. That is the decline in the rule of law. But one would argue that these are just data. These are just paper. These are just, one would say, documents that are just put out there by, institutions, and they should not be taken seriously. These are all some of the, political international political, maybe Rick Marot, that we should not take seriously. What do you say to such person? Especially put out say, oh, I don't mind that thing, that number. Like President Boakai said in State of the Nation address that these are number, we should not mind them. How significant or insignificant is that person thought that we should not mind these numbers? These are all just numbers.
Well, I would say to that person have no understanding of what the MCC scorecard is, of how important what important role the United States play in international affairs, and what that report means for any country. And you have to point out the contradiction and hypocrisy of the Boakai administration, because the Boakai administration, when the CDC government was in power, was saying exactly that this was just these international organizations that are ever just numbers, and you couldn't trace that into the everyday lives of people. Well, look at the president's State of the Nation address. He's quoting IMF data. He's talking about working with the IMF. He's talking about MCC scorecard, right? So it's hypocrisy. People understand that these things are important, but want to downplay it when they are not meeting those benchmarks. But it's the MCC scorecard is important. The IMF reports are very important. They give kind of outlook of where a country is and where it is going.
Okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. So let's go into the SONA of President Boakai. This gone Monday, we saw the president giving a very wonderful, wonderful speech in his own mind. And less than 24 hours, there were a lot of contradictions, or there were a lot of others, different wordings from different areas. I want to hear from you generally, before we can go into the specific. Generally, before the SONA could even conclude, we saw something that is somebody would say very strange, where we saw the president message was already leaked out to the press. And according to information that we gather, that the SONA had been leaked out a day even before the actual day. Now, how concerning is that? How scaring is that for the president State of the Nation address to be leaked out even before he could conclude his reading of the SONA? How concerning is that?
Well, it's concerning, but it speaks to the office of the president itself. It speaks to on how organized, how the office is managed. It speaks to a group of people who seem to not have a control of how they're managing the country. And if they can keep the SONA, it becomes difficult to manage the country. But this has been the hallmark of the Boakai administration since coming into power. This is no a surprise yet. Look, it might be, I think somebody in somewhere read it was in the SONA and said that this is just complete nonsense and wanted the public to know, and that's their way of whistleblowing. But we know that this government has shown a lot of incompetence, and so I'm not surprised if they are having leaks. I'm not surprised if they are not able to manage. Look, you have a situation where the president deliver a speech. If you have an idea, because I work with the Ministry of State, of how the SONA is compiled, how it's collated, is gotten from all the different institutions of government, comes to the cabinet secretary, and all that information is collected, goes to the president, his team, and they're able to review it. Look, if people are not doing that, if they're not checking that, if they're not checking the data, and the president is allowed to come and make the speech, and then you have a lot of correction and retractions error, it just tell you that these people who said they were the most competent people to lead a country are doing a very bad job at it.
Well, thank you so much again. We've been joined by one of our panelists, our brother Leo Montgomery. Leo Montgomery, welcome. We have with us our special guest today, Anthony Ngamode Clinton. So welcome, my brother Leo. Welcome. He's going to be with us. You know, sometimes technology is that. But in the President's State of the Nation address, there were a lot of things that he made mention of. And prominent amongst those is the issue of job creation, the feeding of Liberians' kids, especially those in the school. He talked about the issue of roads, you know, electricity, and etc., etc. But because this is a voluminous, you know, a document, and then there are a lot of things he touched on, we're not going to discuss everything, but we're going to choose some specific that we can talk about, and maybe in your discussion you can try to broaden it. The first thing we want to look at is the president's pronouncement about the issue of, you know, job creation. He made us to understand that uh, in the period of 2 years that this government has been able to create 70,000 jobs. And when you look at the number for, I mean, civil servants in Liberia, you know, those who are working in the government, we have less than or so, or maybe somewhere around 70,000 person that is working in the civil servants, you know, of Liberia, as far as our data is concerned. And the president made that particular pronouncement, which, you know, caused an entire nation to roll about it. It's like everybody is like, now, in your own mind, as someone who have worked in that particular area, I mean, from the Ministry of State area, was that pronouncement of the president a realistic pronouncement, a political pronouncement, or a mistake? Let's hear from you, sir.
I think it was not a mistake. It was a political announcement. It was deliberately placed in the zone and to serve a political objective. But look, Liberia is not Liberia in the 90s. It's not Liberia in the 80s. This is a new Liberia. This is the age of information where everyone has some access to the smartphone or something. They are able to access information. So you just can't get away with these things nowadays. It's unrealistic for the president. I mean, there are arguments about whether these are just short-term jobs. But look, if you need Mo Ali, who is the head of Liberia Water and Sewer, the man responsible for water and sewer in the country. If you need Mo Ali to leave his job the very next day after the president went on to go in the studio to defend the president's pronouncement of 70,000 jobs, it tells you there's something wrong, right? This is the job of the Ministry of Labor. The Ministry of Labor should have the available data. They should be able to say, this is where we got the job, they are the numbers, this is where they're coming from. This is something that should be available for the public. I mean, to easily assess. If you need Mo Ali to leave his job from doing water and sewer to come and talk, do Ministry of Labor's job to talk about the job data and defend the president's numbers, it's a serious problem. It tells you that something is not right. It tells you that this is just a political a statement. I mean, it should be easy. If these jobs, I mean, I think it's very unrealistic. But I mean, if they claim they have it, they should put out the number. We should be the Ministry of Labor should call a press conference and say and issue, papers around and say these are the numbers. This is where we get in job from. That hasn't happened. Instead of you having these spinners from the Unity Party and the government, Muali and the rest of the people who have absolutely nothing to do with collating jobs, information, the country coming to defend the president.
Thank you. Before we give our brother Leo the opportunity to weigh in, and ask his own question to you, one would say that you've been biased. We saw that during the previous administration that you continue to support, where we saw people, speaking and debunking issues that were coming from the opposition from every angle, and was not just left with a specific ministry. And now that we are seeing the same thing, seeing other people coming in. I mean, from Mo Ali's office, we are seeing the Ministry of Information, the Ministry of Finance, Development Planning, Augustine Pehigafon, and just almost everybody coming to do this clarity. One would say that you have been insincere if you would say that, those specific ministries should come and speak to the issue instead of what we are seeing. Even though the discussion is disjointed, you find these people like Mo Ali, in a studio trying to prove that yes, they are creating this job, and he falls short of the data or falls short of the number. One would say you have been very, very, unrealistic uh, in your criticism about people coming up, randomly to just speak on the president's own Sona message. How do you respond to that, sir?
Well, it's not just people randomly speaking. It's people, very key people, very close people with high ranks within the unity party, within the government, close to the president's circle, who are coming to the defense of the president to defend a number that is not a reality, to defend jobs that do not exist. So that's the issue. I mean, any Liberian can come in on any media and want to talk about what the president said, but when you have the president, lieutenant, who have absolutely nothing to do with the numbers that we're talking about, and you have a specific ministry of government. It's one thing if the Ministry of Labor come and say these are the numbers, these are the sources of the jobs, and then you have people saying this is discussing that. Yeah, you don't have it. This doesn't exist. It's just people trying to put a spin on it and come to save face for the president. This is what happening.
Wow. All right, my brother Leo, you are welcome. We have with us again,
Yeah,
Anthony Gamade Clinton. Go ahead, sir. Your question, your comment, and your concern. Go ahead,
yeah,
sir.
please, thank you again. Let me say good evening to a listening audience here. My brother Gamade, how are you, sir?
Good day, brother. Good day.
Gamade is a brother, very fiery brother I admire. Actually, he and myself interacted before on the Spoon Network, but it's been a minute, and it's good to see you here again, my brother.
Thank
Look,
you.
I tell people, Prince, if Liberia can have at least 10 or 20 of the Gamades, right? A guy who will stand up for the truth, regardless of party politics, right? I think Liberia will be a very good place. So let me give the brother his flower. Look, I really don't have a specific question to ask my brother, but there's this one thing that been playing in my mind when it comes to our president's cognitive ability to rule Liberia. I don't know. I don't think you're a doctor. I don't expect you to be a doctor, but just from what you have seen, from your lenses, I mean, the way forward for our country is it's scary. Remember that? So one way, again, I cited an example. You look at the Cameroons, you look at the countries that are electing older presidents. See the outcome, and JNB falls right within that line. So my only baby question would be, what do you see our country in the next 3 years? The president cognitive ability to solidly make decisions that will better our country. Well, I mean, just speak to that. What do you think?
Well, I think we have a largely youth population, and Liberia has to move in that direction. We have to start to give young people the opportunity. This is something we've been saying for a long time. Look, you have 40-year-old people ruling some of the most developed country in the world, Justin Trudeau, in Canada, So the world is actually moving to a place where young people are beginning to take charge and run things. You can wait until people are 70, 80, and 90 years old to run a country. You have a lot of capable, very educated permanent librarians who are out there who are able to lead. And I think whether this government or the next, we have to start to give young people the opportunity to do that. And I think at some point, President Boakai should step aside. And allowed people, the younger people, the youth and energy to drive the country forward. I think this is important. This is not. This is just a natural process as human beings as we age. we lost certain abilities and we are not able to do things we did 20 years ago. This is just a natural process. And at that time, we should be thinking about passing the baton on. And this is where we are advocating whether in the next government, this government, within our political institutions, that, and one of the things I found only it is that to see people 40 years old, 35 years old, even political parties, and they're talking about we're in the youth wing and the youth brigade. No, no, this is time for people, young people, to be stepping up to serious leadership positions. And I support your position that we, at some point, we should be putting up young people to do the job. I think young people are very capable of doing the job. When you're in your 35, 40s, and yeah, that's where you have the most youth and the energy to do things. And it's happening in some of the biggest economies in the world.
Yeah.
If it's happening over there, like, certainly it can happen to Liberia, a country with.
And Prince, I just want to throw in a quick follow up before I lose my train of thought, right? Let me just
go ahead.
follow. So it's amazing you even spoke to the president. And sometimes you give it up, and I think that was what I said sometime on this show, Prince. Look, we know that there has to be a bus stop line. The president knows he cannot go further. But when you look at the sort of interest within the United Party right now, as far as the chain of command, whether secrets are leaking, whether the inability to look, I see a lot of overlap of function. People go speak when they are not given the authority, the perfect authority. So there's no trust here. Now, if we look at the chain of command, the president gives way. Obviously, you will look at the VP. But, Gamade, I mean, who is that one person? Let's say that hypothetically the president decides to wanting to give it up now. One will expect the VP. But it's like, is that not from the frying pan to the fire? I mean, what would you want to say? Who's the next man that is fully ready today on day one, take over from that United Party in terms of emergency?
Well, I think the vice president is going to be a notable candidate. There are other folks within the United Party, of course. The different factions, of course, you'll be, you might hear big up one, other people who might be vying for that. But I think the vice president is going to be at the forefront of that. But does he have what it takes to move Liberia? Hasn't shown the kind of leadership that we want to see. How did he handle the crisis at the legislature? Right, you got to look at all these different qualities. How was Jeremiah conducted himself as vice president with the responsibility that has been given to him to be able to predict if President Boakai was to turn over the gavel over to him today, if he's able to drive developing our country. I think that's debatable. I think, but we'll see. As we. But I think it's going to be a difficult challenge for.
I'm of the mindset that give everybody a chance, but once you be proven qualified, first, Jeremiah Kun, for me, I didn't trust the brother even from our city phone when he was hanging out with the CDCs at the time. I didn't trust the guy. I don't see sound judgment coming from Jeremiah Kun, all due respect. But so imagine what trouble our country is in. Our sitting president is frail. He's sick. I mean, that's nature. We expect it, Even the Jeremiah Kun guy said about his VP, about this president, that he don't trust the president's cognitive ability because at the time he was referring this president to his father. That my father at this stage is wearing pampers. Sure. Again, with all due respect to the presidency. So imagine a Jeremiah Kun who is next in line. I mean, just the matter of time this guy could be at the helm of office calling shots. It's scary for our president. I just thought to throw that in for our country.
I think Jeremiah Kun already is calling shots. I think he's within the president's circle, and he's been entrusted with responsibility, and he's making some decisions. So I think he's already doing that. I don't think. Look, if you look at the way the government has operated, it tells you that the president don't seem to be in too much control.
In control, yeah.
Who are in control. And those are the people who are prevailing at this time.
But Honorable Clinton, one would say that
Prince, you're muted, please.
Yeah, hello. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one would say that your assertion is unrealistic, judging from the fact that all of these countries that you are talking about, I mean, developing nations that are giving young people the opportunity, these are nations that have put in place the requisite, let's say, steps, or, whether be in terms of education, in terms of governance, and etc., etc. The system is made in a way that these people can be absorbed and they have everything that it takes that we prepare them to be able to contribute, in the bigger society. But when we say in our own nation, unfortunately, we've not had that particular opportunity where you find out that, even at the level of the various university, there are still serious challenges. You have people that are not, up to, some university are not even up to standard. I mean, so how realistic is your statement that we must begin to give young people an opportunity, begin to absorb people in the system? When we ask, do we have that particular capacity, or is the capacity there that have built these young people to take over, or are you calling for disaster? That, yeah, let young people take over. They take over now, then noise start getting all around the place. How do you respond to that, sir?
There's been some very qualified young people who've been entrusted a position and they've done pretty well. And I think there are many more competent young people over there. When you talk about the developed societies, it took years for them to do that. But yes, in Liberia, we've always given the older people, the opportunity to lead a country. Well, it's been over 140 plus years. Why hasn't the kind of system you talk about being put into place, right? So it's not necessarily age, is zealous, is competence, is values, is patriotism, is wanting the most for your country. And I think we've not had um, leaders who were truly and deeply concerned and cared about the future of our country. And I think we need to give it to young people to give. I mean, if the guys who have 40, 50 years to live for, who need to be living, who they have all that. If they want to live in a mess up country, who wants to do that, right? If you're in your 40s, but it's different from somebody in the 79 or 80 years who don't have much to live for. So I think giving young people the opportunity to I think they stand a better chance, and I think they're well positioned to want to change things for the better.
Now, the last time we saw young people being very active in government was back in 1979, where we saw the likes of Master Sergeant Samuel Kayando and his folks. I mean, they were all very young people. I mean, in a very, very young age. And it's arguable anyway, something that we can argue on. And one would say that these people were given the opportunity with the PRC transitioning to the NDPL. And one argued that these people decimally performed that led to the 20. It's more than 14. Even people will say 14, but I like to say 14 plus, civil unrest of our nation. Fast forward, we also saw President Weah bringing in such, a kind of energy of including young people in his leadership. And one argue, or the opposition will argue that President Weah decimally performed because he brought in people who were largely, not schooled to government and to governance, and these people came and they mess up things. How do you respond to that?
Well, look, if anyone who will say that the CDC government performed dismally, it's living another word. That's not the information that is out there. You have to look at, and we have to do this another time where we look at the achievement. Have a whole program to look at the achievement of the CDC government. Within the first year, I think the first or second year of the president, how many hospitals did the CDC government construct? The policies of free education, the president commitment to an issue that is becoming a serious problem now, fighting rape. I remember when President Weah called himself feminism chief and pledged support to law enforcement to fight it. The 14 military hospital that was heavily condemned by the opposition. Remember that? Heavily. Now is one of the the hospital, the federal hospital that people are running to and getting medical services. Again, we're involved with what's happened in Bapulu, the hospital that was built in Bapulu. Now that that the Unity Party has pretty much abandoned. but there are a lot of things. A lot of feeder roads that was constructed under the WE administration. The beginning of the RA road. I remember when we did the county tour. The roads in somewhere in Nimba. Look, the CDC government has a whole host of achievement. What we didn't do with the CDC government was to sell explain to the Liberian people a lot. We did not invest a lot in uh, um, public relations, and that was a feeling of the government. And the government was bombarded from left to right by propaganda that overshadowed everything the government. But the government did the significant work. Was this the perfect government? Did the government have flaws? Of course, right? This is not a perfect system, but the government did significantly and to prove. Like read the reports. Even when you talk about, I see people a lot of time to obviously just talk about Samuel Tweb, but read all the reports from the IMF, and what Samuel Tweb did with harmonization, what he was able to do. With the policy that the Unity Party have with just giving people, money, is paying people huge 14, 15, 16, $17,000 who the president was connected to under the Unity Party. We took that money and increase the salary of people at the bottom of the chain, the doctors, the health workers, the police officer. That's those are the legacy of the CDC government. And so for anyone to say that the CDC government didn't do well because President Weah, and look, talk about one of the things that people are even talking about right now is where Emma in Glasgow was, NAFA, right? And Emma's a young person, So what she did with NAFA, right? So this argument, it doesn't, it's not supported by evidence. It's propaganda. It's been going on for a while, and this is what we're saying now, that we are not going to allow the propaganda to continue without rebuff. And then, like, we allowed people took it like that, people were coming and training all these things to a gullible population. But even with that, even with all that, right, I always tell people, you have to look how the result of the election to see what the performance of the government is, right? Look at the last election, right? We lost the election by less than 20,000 votes. It was a very close matter. We won the first round. Had Liberia been a country where you just win the popular vote without that 50 plus 1% requirement on the constitution, just we have been president, right? Just we have been president. He won the popular vote in the first round, right? So you can argue then that this man, his government did absolutely nothing when the people almost voted him back to power. Right, I will even argue, right? President Weah is just a man of peace. He did not want. He saw the push of the Unity Party. He saw what they were doing. I mean, if you follow the election, people, Unity Party people were in pickle. They were going to police stations. They were going to places, and they were carrying on and saying that this country, President Boakai has said that I forgot the exact thing he said, but it's something to what I don't know anybody remember what he said.
He said Liberia, he's willing to end Liberia if
Right.
he wins.
So a lot of these things, but if the election was seriously followed through, and if some of the irregularities that we're talking about, reports of in Nimba that was happening, and people using guns or running people out of polling places, if we have followed through with this, we will probably have won the election. But this president wasn't ready to put the country through the cure that the party was seriously ready for. So he allowed the process to go along. But the result of the election doesn't say that the CDC did very bad.
All right.
We were trying to and voted for the CDC.
Thank you. Before we go to our brother Leo, the president from Joseph Numa Boakai, from his very inception, he talked about the creation of at least 10,000 job opportunity, in other words, skills training for young people. When he took over, he made it, that was a policy statement where he said every year he will ensure that at least 10,000 young people will be trained in the area of, technology and etc. to build the skills of young people. Now, in his State of the Nation address, he made us to understand that out of the 10,000 that was initially promised, he made us to understand that it was just 1,000, and etc., which we'll be looking at the speech now in in specific. Do you think that the speech of the president was just encapsulated with lies, or you think who must we blame for some of the statements that today now is firing back at this particular regime, where people are saying, even people who are in the government, they are saying no, to the extent that you saw the information minister coming up with almost like a rebuttal of what the president said, and there are other people around. Do you think that that particular sonar should be taken seriously, or do you think that the people who are with the president, like others are saying, should be held responsible for enshrining whether be a false, misleading, malicious information in that particular document? How do you respond to that?
Is that for me or Leo?
No, that's for you.
Oh, okay. Look, the buck stops with the president, right? The president is the head of the government. The president is the chief executive, and the president takes responsibility for the policies of the government, the pronouncement of the government. So you have to blame the president, because the information doesn't just fly from the ministry and agency to the public. It goes through the office of the president. So the president had an opportunity to review the information, right? If he had questions about data, he would have called the relevant people, sit down with them, and get all the relevant facts before he went on to deliver the sonar. I think this was deliberate. I think this was a political calculation that went wrong. I think they deliberately put this information out there, hoping that people will accept them. Unfortunately, like we said before, this is not like we were in the 90s or the 70s. This is like brought the information age. So you can't blame. If the president was serious, if you want to blame people, if the president wanted to say people putting wrong information, what you who have been seeing the president taking action against people, you have seen dismissal, you have seen suspicion. None of that has been done. It tells you the president takes responsibility for everything he said. So this is the president's problem.
Yeah, my brother Leo, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so let me just add up. You see, again, Prince, I don't aspire to anyone saying, President Boakai was misled as far as whatever, was placed in the speech, or even making decision forward. Because like Commander just alluded to, look, you were heavily elected, right, by your people to make decisions. And for the record, this guy has been in politics for over 46 years. So when I hear my brothers on the other side say, the president was misled, then again, that just go back to how inept or how unready he was for this office he seated in, and yet people are making decisions for you are not ready for. But again, I just wanted to go back and ask my brother a question here, because I saw Prince before the show. You started highlighting some of the previous work and doings of President we are doing his turn, right? And for me personally, I was just having a conversation with a brother in Robert Black Diamond here in the state of North Carolina, right? I mean, this guy just showed me of heavy work that he had personally done in terms of showcasing some of the work. And for me, that's where I felt like we may have dropped the ball a lot when I said or shown to the audience of the work that Judge Weah did. Even myself, I was very fascinated to see some of the work. Gamada, what do you think we may have dropped the ball? Or I see the likes of Prince Sharif, whether it's myself and other guys on the ground, now begin to showcase, this is what the president has done. Is it too late? Or what can we do to pick up now to say, you know what? Forget this. This is what the president did in Excellency Dr. George Weah. This is what he did. I think, do we need to double up now? Or, what did we drop the ball?
Well, I think we dropped the ball. I think we got elected and people went to sleep.
Say again, my brother.
We got elected and people went to sleep. We overlooked the capacity, the intention, the malicious intention of the opposition, the party to return to power. We took that for granted, and so people went to sleep. We didn't take seriously that the Unity Party was going to play dirty, that we're going to use all the propaganda that we use to undermine the government. And we went to sleep, especially with public relations. Look, we did not invest in public relations a lot, in a lot of PR. Right? You didn't have a lot of agencies, heads of agency coming out to talk about the work that we're doing. We weren't supporting um, platform like Prince Sharif, people like that to talk about what the government was doing. We did not have a media institution of our own. Think about what the guys were doing with class reloaded. Did we have anything under the CDC government? No, we didn't have it. We didn't have a platform where our people could come and talk about the progress the government making. And even look, I'll tell you a story. I went to I believe this was like maybe that was at 2019 or something. I was invited to Kings FM, and I went to Kings, and I did an interview, and I left Kings very disappointed. Kings FM should have been heavily supported. Should have been one of the institution to come to rob or somebody like the Spoon Network. You should have like is from that it should have been a media institution that you could hear anywhere around Liberia, right? So we kind of cozy up to the other side and forget about investing in our own, the likes of Prince Sharif, and people who have told the story of the government, and that's what you have to do. You have to tell your story, because if you don't tell your story, somebody will tell you the way they want to tell it, and we didn't do that. So look, but we are doing exactly what we need to do, right? I remember sometime 2022 when I was back in the States and watching all this propaganda of everything that was being said against the government, and I just got angry, and then I started doing and I started doing the podcast on Facebook, because it was just so much lies that was, and we didn't, and you couldn't see anything coming from our side. Our people were just going along and hoping that Liberian people who understand. But I think we're doing it now with platforms like these. We are beginning to tell our story. People are surprised when we tell them this is what the CDC government did. We tell them when we talk about the number of roads, unless you wasn't in Liberia. I was in Liberia, like many places in Liberia, that didn't have roads. By the time we left power, all these roads were all connected. Look how what we're doing with the streetlight. I read President Boakai speech, and now he's talking about streetlight. They were heavily condemning, when we were doing the streetlight projects. It's something that the CDC government started. We started doing the streetlight all over the place. The construction of the hospitals, heavily supported. When the government announced the free tuition thing, is something that they are trying to reverse now. So there are a lot of things that this government did. The CDC government did. PRO we didn't do well with, but it's a learning curve. I hope we've learned, and not waiting until we come to government, but beginning now to tell our story of what we did and what we intend to do when we come back to power, and what this government is doing wrong.
And Prince, just in 1 second here, please. Again, Gamada, thank you. So again, like for me personally, I think moving forward, Mr. Sharif here. I personally think you have to fight fire for fire. Like I was telling you, Prince, the other day. Like Gamada alluded to, we got too okay. We got too confident. We sat back and we underestimated what this Unity Party could do in terms of what they did then. We couldn't counter them. We couldn't, we were just too relaxed. And now, I'm okay with that. But you see, they have waken up sleeping lions. So with the likes of Spring Sharif, whether it was Black Diamond, whether it's all of the guys that are now on the foot, I personally think there has to be a specific machinery to counter the lies. Every time, that's why I spoke to the Sona. I said, for me, in my personal opinion, there should have been an immediate response so that these guys don't feel relaxed for 1 second. Again, whether it's late or we are now prepping to start responding, it has to be fire for fire moving forward. And I was speaking to another brother, one of the hierarchies. He said, "Oh my man, you got to get approval before you." Of course, we are people, reputable people. We know what to say. Again, I was telling AB, I said, personally, there has to be a political machinery just waiting to respond. The guys at Class Reloaded, those are all political actors in government. We may not meet up to what they are doing, but look, my man, there are guys who are ready to just to fight fire with fire. So, Governor, you're right. We may have dropped the ball, in my opinion, but I see the guys are waking up and like the likes of Prince Sharif and the other guys. So, Prince, man, we just have to double up, and I see you doing it. But I think, the Unity Party got what is coming to them, and they will not be ready for the response that will be coming from the lack of some of us, because I think we are dedicating half of our lives and time now for any kind of response. It has to be a rapid response. I just thought to add that there, Prince.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my brother. So, Honorable Governor Clinton, when you look at the SONA, there are just a lot of unrealistic pronouncement that was made, because basically that SONA should be about what the government did for the Liberian people in the past, what they are going to do for the Liberian people. It's almost like a scorecard, for the government. But judging from all of what was said, I mean, from the issue of employment, from the issue of road connectivity to the issue of health, you see that there are, I don't know, but the best way to put it, there are a lot of holes, in what the president said. But one thing that caught my attention is this issue of feeding about 200 plus thousand young people. I, by profession, I'm a classroom teacher. And I know that I was in Liberia back in the 90s. I saw the school feeding program. And that particular program was very effective. It helped so many young people to be in school, because it was not just only a school feeding program, but it was also a kind of motivating factor to keep us in school, or to keep, folks in school and do their academic work. So we saw a very huge boost, in attendance and etc. President Boakai made us to understand in his SONA that this program is going on, and about 200 plus thousand young people or students or school going age, are benefiting from this program. Or a journalist in Liberia, a credit to Julius J, reached out to the Ministry of Education that is charged with that responsibility to give us number as far as, the data and everything is concerned. And unfortunately, the Ministry of Education could not provide any data as it relates to the specific. They just made it very broad. Yeah, we have 200 and plus thousand children we are feeding and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And they could not even provide any kind of tangible information. Now, in one of Mr. Boakai's speeches, he said that our children will no longer be on the street in order to sell. They will be given opportunity to go to school. He will provide dignified living, I mean, for people who are selling. They don't have to sell no more because they don't make enough profit. There will be dignified, there will be some kind of value added to their life, that they won't have to go in the sun and stuff like that. Now, after 2 years of this government, and with what he said, I want you to weigh in. What are some of the lapses that you've seen in that particular area, especially the area of education, where today we are seeing at the level of the University of Liberia, the president will tell us, the University of Liberia is being renovated, or, there are money allocated for the renovation. And up to now, we have not even seen a single pint on the University of Liberia. We're seeing our students performing dismally. The recent WAS result show a very dismal performance from our students in the past 2 years of Joseph Newman Boakai. So, judging from all that he said, how will you, if you were to grade that particular education sector and what he said in his speech, how do you look at it? What is your own, take on it?
I think the president is doing what the president and his group has been doing for a long time. I don't know why this is a surprise, friend. The Unity Party is a spinning machine. Propaganda spinning machine. That's what they do. That's what the president and his group are good at. They spin stuff. And so when you hear them talking about feeding 200,000 children, and then a journalist called the Ministry of Education, who is supposed to have provided that data to the president's office, and they can't provide specifically or which school and how many children are at this school and how the program has been run. This is what the Unity Party does. It just is it's a party of propaganda. They are very good at that. I have serious doubt there are 200,000 kids around Liberia that have been fed by the government or own government dollar. I seriously doubt that. I don't think that's is if it's been done, it's been done on a small scale. But I mean, it's something that people I haven't been, it's not something I'm privy to, but it's something that people will be talking about, right? Yeah, I haven't. This is the first thing in the president's speech that I'm hearing it. But again, even his own Ministry of Education can verify or can provide solid information on how that has been. Look, but as far as education, it's a serious challenge. The entire sector is challenged, and you want to see the government um, investing heavily in that sector, but that is not the case. What we're seeing in the budget, the budgetary allocation is the office of the vice president and people going up, and we're seeing decreases in budgetary allocation for health and education. It tells you that this government is not serious about addressing the serious issues of the Liberian people. When people talk about rescuing the country and wanting the CDC out of power, what they actually meant was coming back to power to continue the looting of the country. That's what the Unity Party did. For 12 years, it was in power. The Unity Party had all the support you can think about. All the donors were in Liberia. The United Nations, the largest peacekeeping mission in the world, was spending over $100 million in the economy, and all the international goodwill we had. The Unity Party left when Unity Party left Liberia in 2017. We talk about in 2018. What kind of economy did the Unity Party leave? What kind of country did it leave? We took over with a lot of challenges, and this is something people don't talk about. There was no $100 million being infused in the economy when the CDC took over. The Liberian dollar was getting very weak, and that explained why under the CDC in the first, I believe, 2-3 years, the inflation went upward to 23%. Because of all those different factors that was happening on the Unity Party government. But what did at what rate did we leave? Right, we left here, I think, by 10%. We dropped it somewhere in 2024 to about single digit. Right now, the Unity Party government is bragging if you reach the president's speech about dropping inflation. This is what the CDC government did. We dropped inflation to single digit in about, I think, 2023 or so, after the Unity Party did whatever. Look, this government, this President Boakai's government has never been ready to lead Liberia. They've never been ready. They've been saying it. They've been talking and running all the propaganda. Now they are faced with the opportunity. They've given the opportunity to run the country. They don't know what they're doing. And that explains what president, after being elected, could not even put together a cabinet. They didn't even expect this was like a trial and error. These people didn't expect that they were coming to power. We're not prepared. They didn't have any kind of crack cabinet with it. Nothing, So look.
So before our brother Leo take over, you talk about this issue of the inflation, and Mr. Boyka, boasted about that in his State of the Nation address. One would say that when you talk about lowering inflation, it should have a trickle-down effect on the lives of the ordinary people.
Right.
I must go in the market and feel this inflation that is better now. Meaning that we are in good standing. It's reflecting in the market. It's reflecting in the transport sector. It's reflecting in every sector that the
Right.
common man can be able to feel it. Why it is true that the number is in the same the single digit, like we left it and we did exceptionally well. The CDC government did exceptionally well, but unlike the CDC government, are you seeing the reflection of this very good report as it relates to inflation? Are you seeing it in the lives of the ordinary people? Is it reflecting in the day-to-day living of the Liberian people as compared to when the CDC government was there? What do you say to that, sir?
Look, you just have to talk to the ordinary people, Prince. You just pick up your phone and call people. I talk to people, friends, families, who acquaintances every day, and people will tell you that the country is hard. Everybody will tell you that economically the country is not doing well. The country is hard. Look, I was talking to a friend. Let me tell you this story. A friend who was talking to unity party opposition, and during the election we were talking. This person was in Ghana, and he was talking the pape, PJ, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, okay, we're watching. First four to today, if you talk to that person, they don't want to hear anything about the unity party. They're mad. They're saying under CDC government, we used to see something. We used to see this. This is getting so bad. So you can look at these numbers, but you just have to. And the interesting thing is, Prince, these very numbers that these people were talking about. Remember, we used to talk about this, the IMF report and the World Bank, and these people debunk it. It's like, this is nonsense. What are you talking about? I think there's a clip now of President Boakai, right, talking about this. Like, these people used to say, these people are not here, they're just making up numbers. But now they're using the same number, the party propaganda, hypocrisy, but they were never ready for it. They don't have the capacity to do it, and they're showing every day in the lives of our people. And the people are angry in 2029. The people will show their anger.
Now, fellow Liberians home and abroad, we are here with Anthony Gamade Clinton, a Liberian residing here in the US, and he is into so many other things. I mean, helping Liberians. Well, we found time to bring him on to know the other side of who Councillor, Clinton is, Anthony Clinton is. I'm sorry for whatever mistake that I will make, forgive me. But we'll try to bring him over so that he can talk more. So we are having him here, and we have the next 10-15 minutes to have him here again, because he's very busy. And somebody say, when you get busy, people schedule and the time, you got to make good use of it, but don't
Don't play with
make it
it.
to be boring to them.
Yeah,
Otherwise they will not come again.
as soon as the show end, man, I got an invitation to be in Raw Island, so
You see there in Real Island. So fellow Liberians, we're going to give you
inauguration is happening in Raw Island. So
Oh, okay, I see. So we're going to give you an opportunity so that you can call in. Maybe we'll take one or two calls. But before that, let's go to our brother Leo. My brother Leo, you're listening to Joseph
Yes.
Newman Boyka's State of the Nation address. And the issue is just so many. I mean, the odds, the negative, as just so many. He talked about this issue of the rule of law, where, to be specific, he talked about the LDA and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But today we are seeing, I don't know, whether each time the government take an effort to try to fight drugs is when maybe somebody will say the floodgates open and we
Yeah.
have just many, many coming in. Now, it seems as if this government is doing nothing about the issue of fighting drugs, and we are seeing our kids just getting involved with it on a daily basis. Now, from all indication, do you think that there is a light beyond this tunnel that this
Mm.
government can be able to, tackle the issue of drugs that is affecting our society?
Prince, good question. I just want to piggyback from you saying there's no trickle down effect, but there's nothing even trickling. Yeah, there's nothing trickling, Prince, for you to even feel that effect. I mean, you don't see it. But in regards to your question, yeah, Prince, look, there's a saying that if your Christmas will be good, you can tell from the eve. This president is there now going on 4 years. In terms of rule of law, who has been the number one person to start breaking the law? I mean, this president is not law abiding. Whether you want to have the Capitol building example, president break all laws. The president has not been in it, whether he was disrespecting the legislature, not the legislature, but the lawmakers. He said, I will take side. Meaning whether the side was on the wrong side, he listened to his justice minister. After the Supreme Court spoke, I think Gamada is in more better position to even speak on that. But this president, in terms of rule of law, when it comes to drugs, you heard his recent statement. Oh, I know you're doing better, but you're not use it as a license to go after other people. Like, I mean, in terms of rule of law, my brother. The president says there, even his own children, watch them do things. Of course, we know the president is not in control. But like I said yesterday, Prince, the president has gotten so brave, and I give him props to it, because to lie is one thing. But when you start believing in your own lies, it becomes a problem. So
You gotta
I
go
think
for it.
Gamale
You
can
got it.
even speak to that better when it comes to the rule of law. But we all know that the president is now a champion of laws. He will break it when it need to be, Gamale.
But look, as a matter of fact, look, have you seen the 2023 MCC scorecard?
Mhm.
We passed the scorecard, but we went down. The MCP is a low. The market's low. You can easily
Yeah.
pass, but we came from 47% in 2025. This 2026, we're down to 44% in rule of
Yeah.
law, right? So it's crazy. We've declined in the area of rule of law. So, but I tell people these things happen. Everybody, they said the government is an American. There's a famous quote that said the government is the only present teacher, right? By good or by, right? It teaches the whole people by the example. So you have a president who the Supreme Court can issue a rule, and the president can say, "Well, I will deal with my block." I don't care what the Supreme Court says. There's a president who can walk to the side and say that criminals did this thing and the people should investigate and influence the investigation. The president, even when the courts rule and say you can't touch 10 officials, can still go after 10 officials. So this has been breaking all the laws in the book, and so rule of law not good, not good, certainly not good under this administration.
Wow, rule of law certainly not good. Fellow Liberians home and abroad, those of you who want to participate by, your questions, your comments, or your concern, when you look on the screen, you are going to see the number right there. We have with us as our guest today, Anthony Gamade Clinton, who is with us to discuss issues of national concern. So you can call, those of you that want to call, you can call. We have the next 10 minutes here because he's very busy. We have the next 10 minutes to be taking leave of him. So you can give us a call. The number to call is right on the screen. 443-991-3356 is that number to call. Call us and then put in your questions, your comments, or your concern. Again, the number is right on the screen. 443-991-3356 is that number to call that you can ask your questions, your comments, and your concern. Honorable Gamade Clinton, you talk about this issue of the rule of law and the president pronouncement, especially when the Capitol building was gutted by fire, the arson attack, let's just put it that way, on the Capitol building. And we heard what he said and etc. And we also saw the Minister of Justice, Councillor Oswald Tue, statement, in contrast to the ruling from the Supreme Court and etc. Do you think, as someone who is a legal mind, do you think that our legal system, to some extent, is being muzzled, is being compromised? Or what do you think of the legal system, especially under Joseph Newman Boakai, judging from the fact that even people in tenure position took this government to court and the court said, look, the proceeding is not right, return to doing the right thing. And Mr. Boyka just took the other way around and said, okay, say I say we must soon fire the people who will suspend. I have the right to suspend. With all of these rigmaroles, that is going on, especially the legal system being muzzled, where we saw in a broad daylight the justice minister at the time, the Supreme Court judge, the head of the Supreme Court, Madam Siane Yor, when Otenu was about to get expired, she had a lay program that the president did not attend that program, but rather he attended the program of, the justice that he had, you know, uh, uh, appointed or nominated, to the Supreme Court bench. And with all of these small things that you are looking at, I mean, one of our sisters, she is at the ECOWAS court, Emma Glasgow. Uh, she took the case at the ECOWAS court and etc. What do you think of this justice system? You think that it's been muzzled, or you think that, it's influenced by people who have attachment to the system? Should we trust the system? I mean, the judiciary system, or etc.? Let's hear from you, sir.
Well, it's deeply troubled. And I think the classic case is the Capitol building kids, is the kids with the removal of the speaker. That's because that's like that's the biggest one, right? Where you send the president, there's a legal proceeding that's went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court handed down a ruling. The Minister of Justice said, Attorney General of the Republic Library intentionally, I don't believe also toward us and nobody intentionally interpreted or misinterpreted it to suit what the president wanted him to write. And then the Supreme Court came back and pretty much said where he was pretty much not what he had opined. So yes, it's been muzzled. The justices show their discontent with the president's own money of the authority, interference with the judicial system by not showing up. The last State of the Nation, the Supreme Court bench, the entire bench, did not show up. That tells you a lot, right? You don't. What else do you need? Are the people who are responsible for dispensing justice? They protested against this president and what he was doing with interfering with the justice system. But I think he got his man. But again, we will continue to have faith that the bench is going to do the right thing. We know that they are going to have an opportunity. I think he's going to have an opportunity to appoint one more person before 2029. But the people's power is greater than anything, and we trust the Liberian people, the power of the Liberian people to do the right thing. But as far as rule of law, I mean, I don't need to say it. The information is there. The Americans in the scorecard have said that not only did we fail last year 47%, but we did even worse this year and dropped to 44%.
Wow. My brother Leo, let me come to you on this, the rule of law from what is happening. In fact, there are troubling signs where you see the actors. I mean, for example, the Liberian National Police, uh, troubling reports all over the place. We saw of the King George massacre, where
Mhm.
up to now no one was brought to justice. We saw what happened to Matthew Moluba, a brother who had some, health issue, so to speak, health issue, where the police went to his place, and upon his refusal to go to the hospital, he was shot 8 times in his stomach. And all of this violence that is going on, where we see there are rivalry between the Liberian National Police and the military wing, police and MCC, and all these different things. What is your fear? What are you
Look,
afraid of?
look, Prince. I've always said it right. In this regime, there's no justice for the poor, and I don't see any justice for the poor moving forward. Why do I say this? If right now you have lawmakers, or you have guys that are working in this regime that can easily get away with stuff, be it the side example of McGill, who raped a 15-year-old girl. Few days later, we saw that this guy got away with it. You find this other Jala guy who, as a matter of fact, even with this Maggie guy, you saw a certain police chief who came and said there's no diagnosis machine to link this guy to this case. So, but whereas you have, I want to say, some other innocent guys, see that I saw Beach right now. There hasn't been a day in court. So there is no justice for the poor or prince, and that scares me. We have guys who somebody could easily shout and say, "Oh, rape," and they will be handcuffed and dragged. So what this government is telling me, that if you're not in the government, if you're not gene of succumbing to a GMB, I mean anything. Look at what is going on. Whether it's a witch hunt going after the lives of Fida Bondo, and just coming up with all kinds of claims and say, look at our former first lady. I mean, all of these things, it scares me, Prince. It scares me. Well, we were all deep regret to having these guys come in power. Our sitting president in Joseph Boakai has said it clear. He is not a man who will respect the rule of law. The councillor just cited it. The Supreme Court, that is the highest law-making body. The president went against them. The president went against them. He has the bulletproof paper, so he can do that covers all of his guys, saying that yes, you can rip off a 14-year-old boy and get away with it. It scares me unless you scare anyone else. That should scare anyone else, please. I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, please. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Honorable Clinton, of recent we saw something that was very scaring. I don't know. I'm not, one would say a legal person. I'm not a lawyer, but as a security person, to some extent, as you have some level of, some kind of elementary knowledge. But we saw something very strange in Liberia, where the court was asking the former First Lady of the Republic to bring in evidence against her as it relates to the foundation. You are a legal person, and I know by next week they will be hearing that particular case. I think they will be hearing it, or so they'll be listening to it. What is scaring for you in that particular first move from the government, asking the First Lady, to produce evidence of, whatever that she used to build that place in terms of money, etc., etc. Is this usual, in our legal system?
No, it's not. And I was confused about it. I've been asking questions. I've researched law. I don't know where the judge got his authority to do that. I didn't find that in the civil procedure law. I didn't find that in the criminal procedure law. Because when you issue, for you to issue a writ, right, there has to be some case before the judge. In this case, there is not a case before the judge. So I'm still trying to figure out what authority is the judge asking issuing this writ, because he doesn't have, there's been no proceeding against Claudia and the Claudia Foundation in court, right? Because if you read the civil procedure law, that says that the party in the proceeding can ask for a writ. In this case, there's no parties. There's nothing happening. So I'm still trying to figure out, unless there is some law somewhere that I haven't seen. But this is not practice for a judge to issue if there is, there's no kind of case to ask for that kind of information. So the only other thing you will see elsewhere is what they call administrative subpoena, but these administrative subpoenas are not issued by judges; they're issued by the agency, and these agencies are authorized by statute to do that, right? So in certain things, the legislature will authorize the entity to investigate certain things and give them that subpoena power, right? So it's called administrative subpoena. They don't go to the court like the FAA or something, or the Interstate Commerce Commission, who acts, and somebody who they regulate for information, subpoena them to bring certain information to aid in investigation. But it's not the case. So I don't know. The asset recovery thing don't have that kind of authority. Even the Liberal Anti-Corruption Commission don't have that kind of authority. They will have to institute some kind of legal proceeding for them to ask the court to go there and to produce documents. But this is Liberia. This is the new Liberia. I'm really looking to see how that ends, what the judge is his ruling is going to be. And certainly this would be challenged at the Supreme Court, and see what the Supreme Court says.
Please let me ask my brother here a quick question, please, if you don't mind. So brother Gamade here, if you were, obviously we know this case is not going anywhere, but if you were to serve on a legal team of the First Lady, right, what one advice or what are the strategic area you want to look at as to, having this case thrown out or dead upon arrival? If you were to serve on a legal team, what would you do?
So the first thing is, there's not even a case right now, right? There's no case. They have not instituted any case. It's the asset recovery thing, asking for information, and they're using a judge to do it. This is not the asset recovery thing. Is not a creation of the legislature,
right?
Right? They don't have that kind of authority. This is an executive creation. It is a presidential team that is being put together to do whatever investigation they are doing, and they have limitations. They can, if they wanted to do, if the government wants to sue Claria Foundation, then they sue her. And in the course of discovery, they can ask for certain information, ask the judge we need to subpoena financial records and stuff like that. But this is not the case. They haven't. They don't even know why they're producing. Why are they producing financial records of an NGO, right? And something important Senator McGill said was, for you to investigate, the first thing you have to determine is government money missing.
Mhm.
You haven't even determined how, if there is money missing anywhere, what are you searching for, right? Whether you search what kind of money, you have to say certain money that was meant for the Claria Foundation, for the office of the First Lady. We audited and $500,000 was missing. So now we want to see if that money was used to build the that cloud foundation. But in this case, you don't. What are you looking for, right? What's missing? So
Hello.
My only fear with that, when we have a
Yeah.
president,
but to answer your question, I think the team is doing well. They've asked the judge
yeah,
to throw out, to dismiss the thing that he doesn't have the authority to do that. That's the first
it has
step.
no merit. It has no merit.
So if he doesn't do that, I think the next thing will be to appeal his decision.
Yeah. And with the president who will choose to go after anyone he chooses to, and there has to be some kind of counter. Prince, you got somebody coming on?
No. It's somewhere else. But you are coming in. Okay. So, Honorable Clinton, before we take leave of you, I know the time is running out. We have just 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes I want to use that 5 minutes to kill two birds. The first thing I want you to talk about is the way our country is heading. What do you see? I mean, within the last 2 years, there were dismal performance from all indicators, international, national, I mean, all of the sectors. This government dismally performed. You don't need a rocket scientist to tell you. We can see it. The writings are on the wall. But going forward, what do you see? Do you think this government, with how they are proceeding, can make a comeback? That is just one side of the question. And the last thing I want you to talk about before you take leave of us. Everywhere now, people are afraid. Ice all over. As somebody who render, like I said, we'll have the time to really bring you on to talk about this, but we just want to hear from you. What would be your advice to Liberians in the midst of all of this ice thing here, ice thing there, people coming here, people coming there? What is going to be your advice? So, as you look at the prospect of Liberia under this government, you can just end up with whatever advice you have for our people in the midst of this ice hula baloo. Thank you, sir.
Well, I mean, like the outlaw of Liberia is very bad. I don't see anything positive happening. It hasn't happened in the last year or so. It's not. I don't see anything. I don't think the government is willing to I don't know if they're serious about doing what they promised to do, because they've not gotten on their path. The government took over immediately, started to go after people. It started with Speaker Kofi and non-cloud foundation and it's, and people in any position. So the government's is the focus of the government has not been on a development agenda for the Liberian people. It's been on maliciously targeting people and going after people and being vindictive. So I think by the time they exhaust that, it will be midway into year number 3 and 4. We'll be talking about elections. But even as that, even just putting all that aside and just talking about the capacity of the government to deliver, like I told you from the very beginning, this president wasn't even prepared. He didn't even have a cabinet when he was elected. It took him time to put one together. They are still struggling. You saw in the last year or so all the different mistakes we are seeing from one place and one ministry to another, one agency, and all these things that will happen. This level of incompetence is very. There's nothing new here. These people were there before. This is not, and that's the thing people are missing, right? How many new people do you see in the government were not in this government in the last 12 years before? This is not a new government.
Just a recycle.
This is President Boakai jumping from number 2 to number 1. and then all the other people going to live. It's the same thing, right? They were there 12 years, Liberia still the same. I don't expect anything different to happen. Um, Look, as far as what's happening in America with ICE, these are very difficult and different times. Um, and sometimes it's difficult, even for us as criminal defense and immigration lawyers in the court. It's different. You're in court and you're sitting down, you're looking back, and the court officer telling you ICE is in the court. So it's something, that is strange for everybody. It's different. It's something we've not seen before in this country in the many years we live here. So these are difficult times. And it's hard to offer any one single advice because before in this country, where this country rested on was, and what you could put your trust in was respect for the rule of law, right? That if you were a permanent resident, if you were a citizen in the US, there are certain things that couldn't be done to you, right? If you were on asylum and you were in the US until your asylum case went through the process and immigration judge says no, and put your removal, you couldn't be, caught up the street and put in detention, right? But these are very difficult times. We are seeing things that we haven't seen in the last 15 so years before in America. So look, my only thing to people is have a lawyer, immigration lawyer, that is on call. Take your documents with you. I mean, and believe me, this is as crazy as it is, and even, but even U.S. citizens, have been arrested, just by how they look by their eyes, and they could take you and hold you, before you should prove that you're innocent. So it's unpredictable, and no one is safe, pretty much we can say no one is safe, right? To say now I'm a citizen or I'm a green card holder. These are very difficult times. So I take my documents. I remember I was in DC a few months back, and I got in a taxi. This guy from Ethiopian, a lot of Ethiopian drivers, taxi drivers, in DC, and he said, "Do you have your papers?" I'm like, "What kind of paper?" And then you see, "Do you have green card or something?" And he was telling me that this experience of people just in DC, like, ICE officer or federal officer who stopping people, and asking, it was encouraging, he was encouraging us to take papers around. So this is just a new America. Until at such time when this changes, this is America. Now, if you can take your little green card and put it in your pocket, if you have your passport, put it somewhere in your bag and just take it around, because it's hard to say, but it's just like no one is safe. If they are pulling citizens off the street, there's nothing you can do about it.
Again, we want to say thank you so much, Honorable Governor Clinton, for taking up the time to be with us. I know how busy you are. For the fact that you can even, spend these few hours with us, it means a lot. And like you said, one of the things that I've really, taken from you and the several issues that you said is the issue of our information dissemination. And I believe that this is something that we need to work on. And we are grateful that people like you, are coming up to join this particular team in educating our people, informing our people. We again are very grateful to have you, and we hope that we can have you here to specifically talk about, this somebody will say madness, somebody will say this change of, a protocol that is happening in our country, where we can spend time on it, that people can be able to, call, or they will learn from whatever advice that you have. Again, I want to say thank you for joining us. And on this note, if you have any parting comment, then you can say that as we take leave of you. I and Leo going to be here for like 10 minutes to do small analysis. But before you take leave, let's just get your parting comments, sir.
Friends, Leo, thank you guys very much for having me. I'm honored, with the opportunity to come here and talk about our country, talk about what, the CDC government did, talk about what this government is doing, the prospects and hope of what we can expect in the years to come, and to encourage each and every one of us out there to continue to speak about the ills in our society, and especially as seditians, to consolidate as a party, to start to rebrand the party, to start to infuse a new level of dynamism within the party, and so that we can prepare for the challenge of taking on this administration in 2029. So I'm looking forward to it. So my entire family just walked through the door.
I
So
know,
that's
I
the
know.
most hearing.
But thank you again.
Uh,
You're going to serve as guest speaker in New York. New York will be having her own local convention, and I saw it there that you'll be serving as guest speaker. I want to
Yes,
say congratulations. We will be there.
yes,
We will.
I'm definitely going to be there. I'm looking forward to it. It's in New York on February 21st. I'll see you guys there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. So, fellow Liberian,
congrats.
there we have it. He is Garment there, Clinton.
Yeah.
He was with us as a special guest. We want to say thank you so much. He's going to be in New York. New York, we will be having the CDC
Prince, you are
USA
muted again.
local
I can hear
chapter.
you.
I am loud and clear. I think it's from your end.
And then
It's
I'll
from
have
your
to get
end.
out and come back in.
Yeah, sure. So, fellow Liberians, we will be having our brother Gamade Clinton. He will be in New York. New York on the 21st will be having her own local convention. You know, we are gearing up for our national convention. The national convention is going to be held in Pennsylvania. The national convention will be held. So we are gearing up for all of the activities for our national convention. And as enshrined in our constitution, we go for our local convention. So all of the local convention is where after the local convention, then we'll go for national convention. So he will be in New York. As you can see him there, he will be a guest speaker there in New York with us. He will be, in New York. It's going to be a very wonderful time. It's going to be a very wonderful time. So seditians that are, in New York, the environment, adjacent, you can join us. It's going to be Saturday, February the 21st. We are going to be there. I mean, the team will be there. DMV is carrying a high power delegation. I serve as the chairman of the DMV chapter. And the DMV chapter comprises of 3 chapters. We have Washington, D.C. We are the political people here. Yeah. So Washington, D.C., you talk about Maryland and Virginia. So 3 different chapters. So we'll be there to grace that occasion. It's going to be a wonderful time there in New York. It's going to be the prelude to our national convention. So we're also hoping to have the convention committee here. Will probably invite them to talk about the issue of our national convention. We will invite them so that we can talk about it. But that is that. It's going to be a wonderful time. But my brother Leo, let's use next 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Today, something very terrible happened in Liberia. Earlier I played videos
Yeah.
of President Weah initiative in empowering his people. The issue of housing has become a very serious problem. You cannot rule out the fact that there are many Liberians who are at the disadvantaged end when it comes to housing in Liberia. And President Weah started an initiative, the building of housing units in Monrovia, let's say in Liberia, in other
Yeah.
counties. And that effort was to basically ensure that people are given some dignified living. Of recent, when Joseph Numa Boakai took over, we saw something very terrible happening. All over the place, there are domination exercises going on, breaking down of people's homes. And this is not just one person or 2 person. I mean, sometimes the whole community that will be comprises of more than 500 to 600 person. Today, we woke up to another sad news in Satan. I live in that area. In fact, the place that I was living, I saw the house, they broke it down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the place I was living, I saw the place, they broke that whole thing down. We saw Satan almost like that entire area was demolished by, according to them, someone who went to the court and had a court document, and the guy just breaking down things. In that particular area that I saw, nothing less than more than 1,000 person was affected by the action today. I want to see if I can just play small
Yeah.
of it, then we talk about it.
Yeah. Please.
If I can just play small of this, let me put it here. I felt really, really, really bad. I'm telling you, I
Yeah.
felt bad. There were people who were crying. I mean, literally crying. Let me just bring this here. Let's bring this here. Just bear with me.
Mm.
Look there.
It's sad, eh?
A whole community woke up to a devastating news.
Yeah.
In that particular area, you have more than 1,000 person there. I mean, more than 1,000 person. And there was a school in that area. There's a school right in that area. That place, I can close my eye and give you the whole map of that particular area.
Wow.
That's Satan. I can close my eyes and give you the whole map of that area. There's a school, right? Some kind of lay school they had down there. I remember when I was in Liberia, that school was doing well. Of recent, the population of that school had increased. They had about somewhere around 350 kids that were in that school. And the school was in section. They carried a bulldozer there and
Wow.
broke that thing down. Not only the school, but that entire area. They just
Wait,
woke
wait.
up in the morning.
Prince, the school was in session when the demolition was going on.
My brother,
What?
they get net, they get morning, they get afternoon, they get night.
Yeah.
Before the children were around because they had to go for Saturday classes, right? Today is Saturday. Usually they go there for Saturday,
Yeah,
classes.
weekend classes, yeah.
They were around when the people started the process. Start breaking that whole place down. My brother, this thing is scary. This is not the first, the second, the third. You're talking about almost 1,000+ people that are homeless. Because one thing I know, in every home in Liberia, when you get one room, you get more than 5 person in that one room. You
Yeah.
will get a man and a pa. Maybe they will be helping somebody in that room that will be sleeping on the ground. So in every room, especially in that area, when you look at that particular area that thing went on, the demolition exercise went on in that Satan, it's just hard for you to see one person in one room. It's difficult. It's difficult because of the the living
But
condition.
Prince, you are even speaking of other people. But look at you. There is no childhood memory again left for you to even point to.
Yeah.
There's no childhood memories again. Imagine now if you, Prince, will go to that girl for a visit and say, let me go to my old community. There's no old community left for you, my brother. So imagine the people that are first-hand experiencing this kind of thing. But you see, Prince, look, the Bible said it, right? That the devil come to steal, kill, and destroy. These three things, it's not going to stop until this president and his people are out of office. It's not going to stop. But Prince, what this reminded me of when I woke up this morning to see this, it reminded me of our Civil War days, right? When people were running, taking their things out, running. But when we equate that to Civil War, but we are not fighting war, Prince. We are not fighting war. Prince, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
We are not fighting war. And to see the level of anger in our nation, my brother. Look, I saw a lady crying with her stuff. I mean, it's a sad thing. Yeah? It's a sad thing. And these are things that people are experiencing. And these are people who even voted for this present government. How can you treat these people? Look, please, we are all here. We are in a developed country. We are in a developed world. I am all for development. But please, there has to be given some level of compensation notice. And there's a guy on that video saying, they would even tell us, Prince, you are talking about 1,000, even if there were 200 people, Prince. Imagine where those people are going to pick up from to say, oh, and we are family-oriented people. Maybe your cousin or brother can say, oh, Prince, come lodge with me for 1 or 2 days. But for how long? You understand? I could accommodate a family of 2 or 3. Meaning now, my spending expenditure has increased. If I were cooking 2-3 cups of rice a day, is now gone escalated to maybe 4-5 cups of rice a day, just to accommodate. But see the level of hardship that this present government is bringing upon the people, upon our people, my brother Prince, with no blueprint inside, no plan. Mr. President, you call yourself, you want to develop. What is the blueprint? What is the plan? Why go after people's property? Because you feel you are sitting in the capacity to do that? Prince, look, I tell you, you see, we were young coming up, but those were built up. When the Civil War started in Liberia, when we started listening to testimonies, of course, those of us that went in refugee camps and stuff, when you would sit and listen to people's stories of witch hunts, the Sami doors, I mean, those were built up to what we experienced in 1990, whatever, 89. You understand? So it's a sad time. It's a sad time. After almost 15 years of civil war, in this day and age, in 2026, to find our people will wake up in the morning with running helter-skelter with loads on their heads. Where are they going? Where are they going? And the saddest thing of it, the president and his people are seated comfortably in their homes, watching this demolition going out, and they cannot do. There's nothing for them to do. Of course, these guys are seated in the mansions. They will not say, "Oh, y'all come here." Prince, there's no plan. And whenever you don't plan, you fail.
Sure.
For our innocent people to be going through this, it's very heartbreaking, and it's very heartbreaking. And I want to empathize with you, my brother, because look, I grew up in Matadi Estate. Matadi Estate. Whenever I go back to Liberia, imagine the joy of me going back in my old neighborhood where everything began for me as a young 6-7-year-old boy. You understand? Today, when I go to Matadi, it brings back this memory of beginnings or how it started for me. What can you, Prince, say that on the show? You know what I mean? You're talking about other people, but I'm feeling for you, my brother. It's sad. What can you go back to say? Yeah, this was my childhood beginning. This where it all started for me. It's sad, my brother. It's sad, man. It's sad.
I know. It's really sad. But again, you know, they're where we are. They're where we are, fellow Liberian. Look at this time. I've caught up with us. But look at this community. Just look at this. Look at this community. The people are breaking things down. You see, you see the mess that we are into, my people. Look at this. Look at this from this government, this rescue government. Look at
it's
this.
Like a bomb just dropped and exploded.
Look at this.
Wow.
In the midst of this kind of difficult and very, very terrible economy in Liberia, where there are no jobs, these people have become homeless. Government could not even intervene. Let's even agree that this land is for somebody. Amen. Is there no way that you can sit as a government to intervene? The kids that are using that place for school, to kind of intervene, according to people, they say, yeah, we're going in money, just saw it. Yeah. There are no prior notice, according to them. They just woke up and saw this kind of. Look at this destruction in this small area alone. There's not the only place they're going on. They're continuing the process, but in this place alone, you have more than 1,000 persons just in this small area.
Yeah. But please, let me just ask a question, right? Let me just ask a question. Let's say hypothetically, if even the president wants to build road in that community, are you telling me, now I'm an architect, I design buildings, right? Are you telling me there isn't space that you could find in between there instead of demolishing a whole community? There has to be some kind of agenda, my brother. Huh? That's a big community, that's a vast land right there you just got rid of. Even at that, there has to be some level of compensation. Reset to the people. But this is hard to speak to, huh? It's hard to speak to, bro.
I know. But thank you so much again, fellow Liberians. That's what we do. It's heartbreaking. Looking at this is really troubling. It's terrible. But you know, we can't discuss everything today. We want to say thanks to all of you who take up the time to be with us. We really do appreciate you. Until we meet again, hopefully maybe by tomorrow when the time is there for another discussion. We want to say, don't forget to follow the page under the Palava Hut. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and just every handle that you can think about. Follow us. And the next time we meet here will be another interesting conversation. Until we meet again, thank you so much, my brother Leo. And thanks to all of you. Bye from our end.
See you on tomorrow.
We want to encourage those who want to remain corrupt and steal money, that I beg them. The money should be used to bless our people. Thank you and God bless.